bit about the school and the model first,
4,
and then she'll shoot it to you.
3,
2, 1, get ready.
Get ready. 2, go.
Welcome to GEO Next Generation operation that's going on. When I call it an operation, I'm calling it really an operation because this is an operation about education, the GEO alumni. And the questions that are going to be presented is why it works. We have 2 dynamic professional young men, one a lawyer and one an engineer. I just need one more. I should have had another one to say they're a preacher. Don't take me serious. But again, welcome to GEO Next Generation. And we're talking with alumni from there. And I will pronounce their names, but then I'm going to have my boss started. We have with us Jeremiah Tate and Jamal Abdulrasheed. Did I get that right? All right. Kelly, help me out now. Take charge. Did you teach any of these young men, Kelly?
I did not teach any of these young men, but I wish I had. And you can bet I'm going to stay in contact with them. But I am Kelly Marshall, the head of school and principal of GEO Next Generation High School. We are opening our doors this fall to grades 9, 10, and 11. And this is yet another opportunity for us to bring to our Facebook list information session just to give you an idea of what our model is and just to speak to the integrity of our work and the outcome. Again, GEO Next Generation High School offers students as early as their freshman year an opportunity to take those dual credits and earn those college credits so that they can then progress even faster throughout college. I am very fortunate to be with this organization and to be joined today with 2 of GEO alum. And Dr. Brown gave them a dynamic intro, but I would like our listeners to hear a little bit more about them and what GEO has meant to them. So welcome to Mr. Jamal Abdulrasheed and also Jeremiah Tate. Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, glad to be here.
So if either one of you could just kick off and tell us a little bit about what you're doing now, and then Dr. Brown will of course take us into your journey.
Okay, well, hi everyone. My name is Jeremiah Tate. Thank you to Shan, Kelly, and Mr. Brown for having me. I went to Fall Creek Academy out down in Indianapolis, and I am now over at Intel here in Portland, Oregon, as a computer engineer. So it's kind of crazy how I ended up all the way on the West Coast after, my journey from Indianapolis and down to Terre Haute for Rose-Hulman for college. So yeah.
And
Wonderful.
I'm Jamal Abdulrasheed. I'm Jeremiah's classmate, class of 2012 Fall Creek Academy. I'm currently a corporate lawyer at Barnes & Thornburg, which is a national firm, but it's also the largest firm in the state of Indiana. So it's just it's really just crazy just kind of hear Jeremiah say what he's doing now. Yeah, so excited to be here and looking forward to sharing our experiences.
Wow.
All right. Both of these dynamic.
Aren't they amazing?
Jeremiah went to Rose-Hulman. I won't even get on a conversation with that. And then here's Jamal working for Barnes and Thornburg, and he's very short. And I know most attorneys talk a whole lot in a long time. And now engineer may be a little short, but an attorney's gonna talk more. And what was great, both of you, Jamal and Jeremiah, matter of fact, both of y'all got names start with a J. Have you ever thought why? No, y'all haven't thought about it.
Sign of greatness, whatever it is.
But no, what can you tell us that made Next Generation actually great for you all and the experiences that you would like other young ladies, I'm not leaving out ladies, and other young men, but I'm very proud. But I got to ask a little quick question. I see on your hat, A5A. Okay, I'll leave you alone.
But we'd like for them to address why they chose GEO Fall Creek Academy first. Why did you choose GEO schools as your high school choice? Either of you can go first.
Yeah, either can start.
So actually, I started at GEO while I was in middle school. So I went from one public school to another. And I'm trying to remember back. I was in a public school in elementary, and when I moved to the other public school, the curriculum and what they were doing was on such a different level. And at that point, I knew that, it wasn't one-to-one as far as the education you'd be getting at a public school. I was so far behind. And just around that time where I was going in the middle school, Fall Creek Academy had just opened up. Yeah. And I told my grandfather, I was like, hey, I want to go there. And so, I ended up going there from, I think, 6th grade all the way through high school. And it was great. The teachers were awesome, and they were just incorporating technology at a different level that other schools weren't, and they allowed us to really go at our own pace. So.
And I was at a bit of a crossroads. So I had went to an Islamic private school from kindergarten all the way through 7th grade. So it was a competitive school. I had average grades, but my parents recognized that I would likely be ahead wherever I decided to go after that. And so they identified Fall Creek Academy as a unique opportunity for me because of the college credit, like straight up from the jump. I was like, okay, cool. We want them to be challenged. Economically, it makes sense. So let's go for that. And then also the small environment, right? I went to a small private school. So we needed someone to put me somewhere where I needed, I'm assuming, right? Where I would get more individual attention, right? So I think that's really what it came down to.
If you had to choose or share with us one of the biggest things it provided for you while being in middle and high school with GEO, what would one or some of those things be?
Can you say that again? What'd you say?
I was asking, having chosen GEO Academy, Fall Creek Academy School, what did that provide for you? What did it do for you?
I think similar to what Jamal was saying, the class size was a big advantage, right? It allowed the teachers to be a little more personal with the kids. And, you could really work with kids on where they were, meet them where they were, where they are, right? And really allow them to grow, both academically and, socially and wherever it may be. And so that would be the biggest thing from middle school to high school, because I was actually really far behind at a public school before I made it to GEO, right? And it was because there wasn't a lot of mentorship. There wasn't a lot of support coming from the teachers and stuff. And I don't want to say exactly which schools they were. But when I moved to GEO, I really got that attention from some other teachers. And, there was some Black teachers as well, which helped as well. So.
I think for me, I always think about this. I think it was just a sense of confidence. Just confidence in my ability to shoot a bit higher. I think from a young age, Jeremiah, I'm sure you can say the same, you kind of have high expectations for yourself, but to see it tangibly was just super helpful. And I think there was a bit of independence that we had too, that you just wouldn't have gotten otherwise anyway. And that turned out to be helpful, because when you get to the college campus, that's all it is. So being able to have small wins at, 14, 15 years old, proved to be pretty important.
Jeremiah, Jamal, both of you all had to have strong parental support. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm gonna push you a little bit, if Sean let me. What would you suggest to parents who are listening and viewing this about their children's future? What would you tell them, the parents, what they need to do to encourage them to get the opportunity that you all had and not fear that their children couldn't succeed? Because I remember Jeremiah saying, hey, we wasn't too sharp, but when the educational system started working in our behalf and giving us attention, we found out we could go to the moon or to the stars. What would you suggest to parents, both of you, Jeremiah and Jamal?
I think GEO is really good at working with parents and students together. And I think that it's a journey that both the parent and the student takes together, right? I remember when I was going to Fall Creek, right? like Jamal was saying, we had a certain level of independence that you just can't get at any other school in Indianapolis. You know, having the ability to go take college courses at Ivy Tech, you know, while you're a freshman or a sophomore in high school is just, it was just not really heard of, right? And so, you know, just being supportive of your kids, you don't need to know everything or anything like that. It's just, you know, being cognizant of what's going on from an academic standpoint and really what the school has that both the parent and student can take advantage of together. You know, like we had different after school events, volunteering events and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, I really like that.
Jamal, do you want to add? Yeah.
Yeah, I'll add in. I think it's important to be consistently like attentive to like your student in particular, because all this sounds good, right? But it doesn't necessarily work for everyone. So when I first jumped over there, it wasn't all peaches and cream. Like I wasn't. It was, you know, I've got C's and failed a class, whatever, right? But a part of it was my parents over time. They, you know, not only were they attentive, but they knew their child, right? So it's okay to pull back and be like, okay, you know, maybe I know my child, maybe they're not necessarily ready for this at this moment, but the better they knew me, the more we were able to engage in a dialogue on what worked for me and what didn't work for me. So I just think it's important to keep that open dialogue, you know, and not only jump at an opportunity, but jump at it when it's the right time. So yeah, open dialogue and attentiveness to like where your child really is, despite the great opportunity.
In that same frame of questioning, I have a student orientation tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, and it's going to be virtual. But with every student that has enrolled into Next Generation, in that same frame of thinking and questioning, what would you, if you were invited to that event, which you always are, of course, what advice or what conversations would you be having with students who are enrolling? We have, you know, it's inevitable. You've got students that are without a doubt completely bought in. And then you have, you know, a small population of students whose parents said, nope, you're going. So you're not too far removed from them, although you guys are, you know, definitely more mature than the students we have right now. But what would you say to them?
I guess I would say one thing I quickly learned is that there's not much of a negative side to any of this, right? I mean, just even if you're on the fence about it, you don't know if it necessarily worked for you. Your parents may have bought in, but you haven't bought into it yet. Like, if nothing else, you're going to come out of it either in the same position or a better position than you were before, right? I just think there's a lot to gain just by just going into it with an open mindset and just seeing like what it turns into. But I don't think there's a situation where you come out in a worse position. You'll you'll learn more about yourself, not only that, but you'll just learn more information generally. It's about your track and what you want to do just by giving it a shot. So I would say just go into it with an open mindset, as with anything, but this in particular, open mindset, and there aren't many negatives to it.
Maybe this will help Jeremiah as he's thinking about his answer. Here's the statement to help clarify it just a little bit more. My high school and college days are unforgettable because, Mr. Tate?
My high school days and college days are unforgettable because of the teachers and the friends I brought out of there. Like Jamal was saying, like I didn't know that Fall Creek Academy would have the opportunities that it did, right? You got to kind of go in with a certain level of optimism and, you know, just be open to wherever it really takes you, right? You got to kind of get out of your comfort zone a little bit and just try something you never tried before. That's kind of the mindset I had. And I met a lot of great people because of that decision. And I think that's the biggest thing, just being open to meeting people that have been before you and finding those people to run with.
Jamal, you shaking your head. You want to say something?
No, I totally agree. I mean, that's just what stays, right? The relationship.
Yeah.
Ms. Hart asked you a question, and behind her question, which is unique, do you mind, Ms. Hart, me asking them to consider doing something for next generation, and they don't have a clue of what I'm going to get ready to ask? And you all,
Let's go for it, Dr. Brown. Let's go for it.
Dr.
Jamal and Jeremiah, could you all write you don't have to do it today or tomorrow, but write a 2-page letter to who you are now, looking back 12 years ago of who you were then, and you're writing a letter to that person, which is you then, about what they need to be doing to be where you are. You get my drift?
Yeah.
That's a good one, Dr. Brown.
Very good. And it would benefit those students coming in now.
Yeah.
Along those same lines, so my experience attending college for the first time was?
Man, eye-opening and nerve-wracking. And yeah, it was just, there was a lot to learn, right? I went into college at 16 and I was very immature. You know, luckily I had taken some college courses, so I had some of that work habit that was needed. But really being fully independent and understanding like, hey, you need to be working ahead on some of the stuff to get it done, I didn't have it. So yeah, it was a little scary, but I'm glad I had that foundation of those courses I was taking back at Fall Creek Academy.
Yeah, I don't really have much more to add there. It's definitely challenging time, kind of scary. You can go through all the lessons, hear all the lessons, period. But until you go through it, you know, until you experience it for yourself, you don't really know. And sometimes you got to take losses, you take L's, right? But then you remember, like, oh, okay, that's what they were talking about in this situation.
And I think that's really the thing. Like, you don't have to have everything figured out. You know, you just have to have that mindset that you're going to get through it, right? And there's always going to be people there to help guide you in the right direction. So
You and Jeremiah were roadies, if I may use the term. Jeremiah and Jamal, y'all were kind of roadies, right?
Never even heard that before.
Okay, I'm sorry.
yeah, we were brothers, we were friends, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Back in my day,
I was about to say, they're not our age. They don't understand that lingo.
Shannon and I had roadies.
But having relationships with some of your buddies and friends, that helped you through, did it not, while you all were on your journey?
For sure, yeah.
Did that kind of help you all? You two seem to be well connected. I can't talk about what we talked about before. You all are connected though, right?
Yeah. I think that was one of the most, I think my relationship with Jeremiah was one of the most important that I have, because, you know, no matter where you go, there's bad influences.
Yeah.
Friends aren't necessarily good for you wherever you go, but maybe I didn't do it intentionally, but I had identified people who, you know, when you strip everything down, strip everything away, people who really, you know, whether we goofed around or not, people who really cared about their work and wanted to push forward. So me and Jeremiah, we did probably a million things, a lot of which we probably didn't get caught for, right?
I didn't ask for confession.
But for real, like, you know, yeah. One moment we might be, you know, shooting paper balls in the trash can when the teachers turned around. But I knew when it came down to it, if I needed help with my work or somebody who's going to like seriously address my concerns or somebody I could vent to, I knew that person was there. So yeah, we have a strong relationship, and it's important to have those friendships no matter where you decide to go to school.
Yeah.
Great.
I have a question, Dr. Brown, for them. Okay. So with this GEO model and the opportunity that it provided, that it shared for you all and your families, what were some of your greatest achievements? Who wants to take that one?
You mean from a GEO perspective, right?
A GEO perspective and now in life, having gone through high school and college now, and what it's done for you to help prepare you and get you where you are today?
I think the greatest achievement for me, on my side, would be, just finishing out and getting the college degree, and just coming out with my bachelor's degree in science and moving out to Portland to work at Intel as an engineer, just saying like, hey, back in high school, I was saying I was going to be this engineer, and I actually went and did it. Right. And so now the bar is set, niece, nephew, right? It's time for you to, if you want to do something, you can do it. You know what I mean? Like, you just have to continue to trust the process and really pay attention to that association. Like Jamal was talking about, finding those people that really want to run. And, Jamal and I took totally different paths, right? He went to be in law and I went to be in engineering. And so, but we're still great friends, right? So finding people that have that drive to do something is key. So.
Yeah, I really like that question. I'm kind of struggling to give an answer, but I think the greatest accomplishment is just being able to have this type of journey, to have options, continually have options to do, what I want to do, for me and my family. So yeah, and then of course just being able to not only get a college degree, but to shoot for a secondary degree, which, I come from a somewhat educated family, and be able to take that next level. I think that might be it. That might be it. Being able to take that next level for my family, because the next level becomes the standard.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that I continue to have to keep checking back on, and making sure that standard stays. But it's that I think that's the honor, being able to take the next level for your family.
What's the next level? Jamal, what's that next level or that next dimension?
Next dimension, it's there's a couple things. There's financial independence, not only for me but for family. Social, I don't know what the term, social equity, being able to influence decisions that's being made in the community. I think that's the next level. I think getting a degree is one thing, but being able to call up my city councilman, call up people, influence what's being done. If something is going on in my community, they call me to help figure it out. I think that's the next level. And for my family and Jeremiah's family to have that type of resource, no matter where we are, I think that's a part of the next level.
Can I throw you a curve, Jamal? Will you accept the curve? I'm going to throw you a curve. I'd like for you to run for a political office. Could you run for mayor? Could you run for a governor? Could you run? What about attorney general?
Ooh. I'm a private person. I'm not there yet. If that's the best use of my resources, my talents, then we can talk about that at some point.
And the same for you, Jeremiah. What's your next dimension? You all use the word levels. I use the word dimensions because I come out of another mindset. And Sean and Kelly may say something's wrong with me, but I call it dimensions. What's your next dimension, Jeremiah?
For me, I think it's really getting the money thing out of the way, kind of like what Jamal was saying, and being in a situation where I don't really have to worry about that. I can provide for my family and all that. And right now I've just been spending a lot of time growing in my emotional walk, my spiritual walk, because I'm finding that, having that faith is super important to really driving influence at a different level, right? And so I imagine myself, building some different companies in the future, all that kind of stuff. But right now I'm just paying my dues, right? I'm trying to build my resume basically, right? And say, hey, I made it to VP here as an engineer, right? Like, now let's go really start to really make some stuff happen. So really building that influence.
All right, you all are ready. Go ahead, Jamal. You wanted to say something?
No, I just really like that, because it's like what I've just realized is recently is this: once you knock out some major accomplishments, like, okay, I graduated from college, I graduated from whatever other degree program, like the devil's in the details. Like, you have to take spiritually and emotionally, like, for real, because you can have all that type of stuff, but if you're not like a solid, once you strip all that stuff away, then none of it matters.
All right.
Dr. Brown, let's take them one more step, a little bit deeper, because they're being
Okay.
kind to our listeners and our viewers who may have some interest in enrolling your children, your students into GEO Next Generation High School. Feel free to write in questions you might have. Call us at 317-608-6220, or you may reach us on their website at geonextgenhsindy.org. Here's a question, you guys. I'd like to expand on that just a little bit further. Thousands of people like you and I, right? We have and have obtained associates and bachelor's degrees to improve our lives and build upon a brighter future and that sort of thing. You are a powerful, powerful resource to high school and college students, both today and in the future. What are your last words for them this evening? Why does this work? That was deeper than I thought it was going to be.
I mean, everybody's waiting. Somebody speak up, Jeremiah, somebody.
These are your last words for listeners and young people trying to still get on the path and get themselves together, get that high school diploma, those college degrees, that career.
I think, yeah, I was really thinking, because when you say last words, right, it makes it a little more pressuring. But I think the most important thing is for anyone that's getting started or really thinking about GEO is to just, you have to make a decision. You know what I mean? You have to take the first step in whatever it is you're trying to do, right? And as you build up those small wins over time, that's what eventually gets you to that high school degree, that college degree, that job you wanted, right? And so it's really about being consistent and just really getting over that ledge and making that first move. That's my.
Thank you, Jeremiah. See, I like asking that question, don't we, Dr. Brown? Because we have some folk who really don't quite understand our dual credit model, nor do they believe. We got some non-believers. So that's why I wanted you guys to just talk a little bit about that and or expand on it. You're up, Mr. Jeremiah.
Jamal,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, this kind of adds to what Jeremiah said. I think consistently what you'll go back to in life is that you're looking for options. And what's important is to recognize when you have options to improve your life. And I think this dual program, the school in general, it's an additional option for you. And I think that's less opportunities are presented the younger you are to have options in how you educate yourself, you know, and things of that nature. So I think it's important to recognize this is the first of many options that you have to try something different, to push yourself a bit more. And then, you know, I can pretty much promise you that it leads to more options in the future, and it just continues to grow. So recognize this first opportunity, if it's your first opportunity to have this sort of option, to push yourself in a different way and not others.
Dr. Brown, you're up. I think Ms. Marshall might have something to add.
I was just, before these dogs went crazy in the background, I was just saying, you know, these two young men absolutely speak to what our founder and CEO consistently says, that GEO is a launching pad, not a destination. When I hear them speak as a seasoned educator, I am so proud of everything that you have done, and I'm so appreciative to be able to take the torch and continue to light the flame for all of those students that are coming, you know, after you. I encourage you, and I'm going to be hounding you to stay connected because you're doing great things, not just for you, but for every student that is even considering to move into a dual credit approach. Indianapolis has made a lot of great advancement toward improving education for students, specifically of color, and specifically for those who are often denied access and opportunity. And GEO is, in my opinion, one of the best options out there right now. And again, I thank you, I appreciate you, and I support everything that you're doing.
I'll almost have to say on that, Kelly, ditto. I just want to add to those beautiful brothers, even though one's an A5A, and I'm not mad at the brother.
That's all right.
I'm not mad. I got you. I got you.
Way to go, brother. I see you.
I appreciate you.
Jeremiah, did you do anything in the fraternity?
Yeah, so I went to Rose-Hulman. There wasn't a big, there wasn't a lot of following for Black fraternity, so I joined Pi Kappa Alpha.
Gotcha. I hear that. I'm aware that. I'd like to say to both of these gentlemen, because I know our time is running, isn't it, Sean?
Yes, we're running out of time.
I'd like to say two things to them right quick, which they take with them. You all, every day you all take, and everything I've heard from you, consider it a new beginning. Don't let the word last days. There is no last days for you. Every time you take a deep breath and you wake up with the talent and the skills, that's a new beginning. Tomorrow is a new beginning. The next day is a new beginning. So begin to think, even in your theology, be you whatever division is, it's a constant new beginning. Did I make sense to y'all?
Yes, sir.
Jim.
All righty. Kelly, these brothers are out of sight, and I'm going to get in touch with them. They don't know it, but I'm going to get in touch with them.
They are awesome. Once again, to both of you, Jeremiah and Jamal, we appreciate the time that you have taken. We appreciate the steps and the, I'm going to say, the challenges that you've come through, and every success that you've had and will continue to have in helping to support the students that are coming into next generation. We appreciate you, and I look forward to staying in touch.
Awesome.
Thank you, guys. Dr. Brown, you closing us out? Any last words, guys?
Well,
Either of you?
Yeah, let them that's not the last words. Give us some new beginning words.
Some new beginning words. My apologies.
My apologies. Last, Jeremiah, wait a minute. I'm not going nowhere. This is in my last days, but go ahead.
Some new beginning words. You mean for GEO, the next generation?
For whatever is in your psychic.
We're currently enrolling 9th, 10th, and 11th graders.
I think, just look into it more, do your research. I think it's a great opportunity to not only get your child into an environment where you can come out with some college credits, save a ton of money. College is getting way, way, way more expensive than it was back in the day. And I think that the sky's the limit.
The sky's the limit, and I think you have a unique opportunity to be surrounded by people who truly believe in their mission, and I think that just serves you well, and it breathes more life into you.
Well said, gentlemen. Again, thank you all for joining us. Dr. Brown always has the final words. Feel free to give us a call at 317-608-6220 or on our website. Visit the website at GEONEXTGENHSINDY.org. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Dr. Brown, take us home.
And to all of you all on this Memorial Weekend, remember to be actively calm and calmly active.
Thank you all for coming to today. We can't thank you guys enough. Ms. Marshall, were you going to add anything on that one?
Just a good thank you, and everyone have a safe and wonderful Memorial Day weekend.
Thanks for joining us. Bye, guys.